Sing, sing a song, sing out loud, sing out strong, sing of good things, not bad. Take it, Jill. Oh, no. Oh,
Oh man, that reminds me of something too. I have two things now I have to say.
Well, I was like, well, huzzah! Welcome to the JillStream. I am your co-pilot, Antonio Bryce. I am a comic book creator. You can please catch my book, Brand Way of the Gun. It's on Indiegogo right now. If you guys are so inclined, you can catch that at cardpress.com. And of course, please welcome once again our good friends over at Planet EJOBN over there on Facebook. Meeting a lot of friends over there now. So thank all of the good folks at Planet EJOBN that have been supporting this broadcast, which you can now hear on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio each and every week. Of course, we are broadcasting the JillStream Wednesdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Akari Press. Of course, come back for Wire Wednesdays. We've been having a lot of fun with that and hanging out with you guys. But, well, Jill.
Yes.
How are you, dear? Everything is good.
Good. I'm hot. I was telling you it's warm over here right now. It's pretty hot.
I'm in the South, so I don't know. I think
it's a different hot. No, I know I'm a baby. I'm not.
I'm about to say Tennessee hot, Southern hot is different from it's like not, that weird.
Yeah, it's not what you would consider hot, I'm sure. You'd be like, you spoiled brats.
Like slave cotton picking hot.
It's not that hot. It's not that hot. It's a smooth California Bay Area hot, so not even a Southern California hot.
you can always tell. Now this is something for you. You can always tell when it's too hot, like when you're out there in Cali, and if it gets so hot that as every black person walks by you, you start going, shouldn't you be picking cotton or doing some other type of field work right now?
Those sorts of thoughts have never crossed my mind.
Okay.
Was that a test? What the fuck?
That will let you know. It's like, I feel like you should be, plowing my fields right now, boy. I'm like, I don't know.
No, those thoughts don't cross my mind.
Those don't cross your mind. So, I don't know. Oh, so so obviously I have, I got a little groomed.
Darker skin. I don't know what I was just gonna say.
Well, I had a
my mom's Italian. She can get pretty dark. I mean, obviously not dark, but
yeah, like get pulled over by the police dark. Can we get that?
No. My mom is the sort of person to like worm her way out of a ticket, sort of thing. Back in the day,
I've never been able to pull that one off.
I've never have either, honestly. But I don't. That's not something I would even attempt because I'm not comfortable doing things like that.
Please don't give me a ticket, officer.
Yeah, no. I have dealt with a few dick cops, but not in a way that I've not in a dangerous way, just dicks.
Oh boy, yeah.
I was out with my friends. I was the one that always fucking drove because of where I lived in our town. Like no one ever wanted to come pick me up. I always had to pick everyone else up and drive everyone around. But we're just driving around. We get pulled over. We had a town, an unincorporated town, Castro Valley. And so it was the California Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Department would cruise around. We didn't have our own like city police or anything. And I'm sure I was speeding in like a residential, barely. And he pulls us over and he just starts giving me shit like, does your dad know where you are? And all this sort of thing. I'm like, yeah, my parents know where I am. Like, we're out with my friends. Give him a call. He'll be very annoyed by the call. Asshole. It was just odd shit like that. Like, weird power flex. Just give me the ticket so I can go, dude.
Well, your experiences with police are slightly different from mine.
Right, exactly. And I understand that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
going from being a baby about the heat to being a baby about a speeding ticket.
No, I always love when especially like say 20 years ago or so, and I would be out cruising with one of my Caucasian friends, and all of a sudden they started noticing that they were getting profiled and pulled over. They were like, wait a minute, what is this happening? They would see me and they'd be like,
I think I've been in a car with a friend. I have experienced that. I won't go into that situation, but yeah, that was an interesting situation.
I always love that. They'd be like, wait a minute, this never happens to me. And I was like, yeah.
Maybe
one
we'll
of these
some other
things
time.
is not.
Let's get it on a lighter note. You singing at the beginning of the show, or like singing at me. That sounds bad. One of my great grandfathers, like I had 4 great grandparents that were alive on my mom's side. These old Italians that just like live forever. And one of the dudes who fancied himself like the patriarch, but I won't go into all my family dynamics. But he
liked JillStream. Why wouldn't you go into your family dynamics?
I don't know.
Without
that stuff can dribble out. I don't need to. Other people are involved in shit. But he was. We'd show up at their house, and my great grandmother was a really excellent cook, and we'd show up there for dinner every once in a while. And he would be in his little office room.
The Moulignon?
Oh, what?
Oh, no. Okay.
He would be in this office where he had these, like, I think they were cassette tapes or reel-to-reels, and he had this, like, old school microphone, and he would be in there singing hell of loud, like old, like, Rat Pack songs, just, like, shit like that.
Like
and he
Jack
wasn't great.
Or something. When the clock strikes.
Yeah, just like really slow, boring songs. Like I'm blanking at the moment, but he'd show up and he'd be doing that. He'd finish off his like time where he sang, and then we sit at the table and eat, right? And then just super randomly, you'd be eating, and he'd like turn to you, or he'd like turn to me, like me and my sister would be there, but he'd like turn to one of us, and he'd just like start singing at me, like just super awkwardly, like it's just so weird. And then it would end, and then we go home, and I don't know. Family shit's weird.
Hello, Cardin Taylor. Hello. Yo yourself.
Hello.
All right. Welcome to the JillStream, Cardin Taylor. All right. So let's,
I have one other question. Well, actually, I did write a note so I wouldn't forget, right, as we were starting, because I would forget. You know the song Turning Japanese? I'm turning Japanese. Hello, Yo Carter. He'll be interested in this conversation, this question I'm going to ask you, because we were talking about this. Olive Garden standards. Those are the types of songs he sang. Do you know the song Turning Japanese? I'm turning Japanese.
I have heard that song, yes.
Japanese. I really think so. What is that song about?
I thought it was about transitioning. I don't know. I have no idea.
There was a time, for some reason I have in my head, that I heard somewhere.
That's like early 80s MTV, isn't it?
Yeah. But somehow I got in my head that song was like a euphemism for masturbating or jerking off.
Oh, okay.
And so then in my mind, I'm like, is this song going to get canceled? Because it's like turning Japanese, like it's not cool, right? And then Yule's like, I never heard that before. I thought it was about someone being into a Japanese girl and getting really into the culture. And I was like, yeah, but she's not around and he's staring at her picture. And I don't know. I thought it was like a euphemism for
and
like
the squinting is him. I was like, is that song going to get canceled? I don't know where I'd heard that before. I don't think I invented it in my mind. Well, it's really like I was like about 20 years old or so when I found out that Brandy was about a dog. I don't know. I really miss you, Brandy.
Does it say like in the lyrics somewhere that it's a dog, or do you just?
I had to look at
or was it explained like in a different way?
The song was about a dog. I guess it died, and people thought it was about a woman.
Of course,
it was about a dog. It was, hey, the dog died, and he's sad because he's missing his dog. That's really what it is, or Paradise by the Dashboard Light. I did not realize, but I was a young man when I heard the song.
My dad played that album a lot.
Yeah, banging a chick in the car.
Right. And the base, all the
we're gonna
baseball.
go
used
all
in
the way tonight. We're gonna go all the way tonight.
Yeah.
We're gonna. But I actually have that's Bat Out of Hell Meatloaf, which is a great album.
I listened to that album a lot. Oh, excuse me, a lot when I was younger.
But
a lot.
If you're gonna only have a couple of hits, having Bat Out of Hell, and then he did Bat Out of Hell with Bat Out of Hell 2.
That second one, and then he had that super dramatic video where it's like that fantasy romance novel.
Because you
like
got
Beauty and the Beast or some shit.
You got Meatloaf, and he's been gone at that point for like 25 years, and then all of a sudden he shows up.
Now, was this before or after he was the bus driver in Spice World?
That's what I want to know. He was doing little acting jobs because he was in. Wasn't he in? I know he was in.
He did more than that, yeah.
What was I'm a Transylvanian transvestite from whatever.
Oh yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Horror. He was in that.
That was in the 70s, though. Yeah,
yeah. He was. He did. That kind of thing. So, only a dog can stir up emotion in men. Yes. Meatloaf. Oh, my poor.
You're roboting. I'm gonna look up Meatloaf's IMDb right now. Okay, now you're back. Now you're back. Oh, he Fight Club. The guy with the boobs, Fight Club. That was a.
Oh yeah. That was Meatloaf.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
He had gynomastria. Yes. It caused what we refer to as man boobs.
Right.
And that is. But I love Fight Club is with David Fincher. He had also directed Seven. That's a great movie. But I was Seven as well, like Seven and Brad Pitt.
You're roboting again, Antonio. I can hear you, but you're roboting.
Of course.
Yeah. You're back again.
Yeah,
now you're back.
I'm looking
now
at
you're
my
back
screen.
again.
I was like, what's going on? Because I was like, you're perfectly clear to me. This is horrible. I don't want to be gone.
No, you can't be gone
forever.
I can't do this on my own. My goodness. But I remember seeing Seven in the movie theater.
I'm like, what is it?
Obviously the famous, if you're of a certain age and you watched the MTV Movie Awards at that time, the William Shatner parody of that. Do you remember that? Where they do the What's in the Box and it's William Shatner's head. Do you remember that? Like at that time, the MTV Movie Awards would do, like every year they do like parodies and stuff, try to make it the fun Oscars. And I remember that parody. Anyone out there remember that? It's pretty funny.
Hold up. Let me get Daniel C, because I definitely disagree. Alien 3 was his best movie.
Wait,
no.
Who? Meatloaf?
No, David Fincher.
Oh, I'm like, it's a long Meatloaf. I just rewatched Alien and Aliens, and I have to get to Alien 3. I don't remember I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through, to be honest.
And then the two Aliens versus Predators, and then they have Predators.
I've actually seen both of those. The one with the ice pyramid and the chick, and it's so very like fun / ridiculous and bad. I always like Alien in concept, but most of the execution of the later stuff I don't care for.
So you didn't, and I think we talked about you didn't like Prometheus, right?
Not really.
Yeah,
I didn't care for what's her name? Noomi Rapace. Was that the lead actress?
Is that her name? She like French or something? Hold on, let me see.
Something like that. I didn't really care for her. She was a bit boring to me. Like my attention drifted when she was on screen. Like I just didn't care about her at all. And she was in it a lot.
Yes, that is her name.
Noomi
Rapace. But she was also in Rogue One too, or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I just haven't seen Rogue One.
I'm trying. Hold on. Let me check her IMDb.
She may have been
and see what I thought she was in Rogue One or something.
I'm just judging her in Prometheus. I'm not going to judge because I'm not going to.
Okay, because let me see. Yeah, she's been in a bunch. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I loved. There's also a TV show. Let's see, Sherlock Holmes, a Game of Shadows. That's the second one. I like the first one, but there's apparently a new one coming
with
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey.
Yeah, he's supposed to be doing this one last time apparently, but obviously
How old is he? How old is he right now?
He's like
Robert Downey?
50, 52.
50 something?
Yeah. But I mean, you know, but he was supposed to do they were supposed to have Guy Ritchie back, and they were supposed to do a third one. So the first one was really well executed. Second one wasn't horrible. I just did not enjoy it. After I saw the first one and you go into the second one, it didn't really expand. You know, it was just like, okay,
like the first one was enough.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Sherlock, the show?
Yes,
show?
with Benedict Cumberbatch
Yeah.
and what's my man from the Hobbit movies?
Martin Freeman? No.
Martin Freeman.
Freeman.
That was great.
I always mix up him and Morgan Freeman. Martin Freeman.
Wouldn't that be funny if Morgan Freeman was the Hobbit? That should be should be a Key and Peele skit. Uh-oh.
You're roboting again. But did you say Morgan Freeman as a Hobbit? Yeah, that would be fun. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, no. I was like, uh-oh.
He could be a Hobbit. Anybody could be a Hobbit.
Oh, yeah, alive. But he was on extras. Wait a minute. I'm trying to make sure I'm not. Because I was like, all of a sudden, I was like.
Martin Freeman was in extras?
Yeah. He was.
Just as like a side, because as like one of the like actor, like playing himself.
Oh, he was. I
just can't remember. Like, my favorite part in extras is the David Bowie when they're sitting in the VIP thing and David Bowie gets on the piano and he sings that song about Ricky Gervais being a little pig man. If you haven't seen that in a while, check that out. It cracks me up every time. It's just David Bowie making fun of Ricky Gervais, and it's pretty hilarious.
Okay, Daniel C says, what did you think of the later Sherlock seasons? It kind of fell off for me.
It did for me too, Daniel C, a little bit. I didn't really care for that last season, if I remember correctly. I haven't rewatched them in a little bit, but I love the first season for sure. It was kind of like I really liked the Moriarty stuff, but once you get to the Moriarty, once you do Moriarty and then like do it, like it's kind of over. But that also happened in real life with Conan Doyle. Like he killed off Sherlock Holmes
because he got tired of it.
Right. And they forced him to bring him back. So a lot of those later stories, it's like he had already killed off Sherlock Holmes. And they're like, no, write more.
And another thing is, as a writer, you're just like, well, I wrote something and it's successful. Surely I can come up with something else and it'll be just as successful.
Right. You'll love it.
And he put something else out there and it bombed.
And
Sherlock. You need money, and you can make money doing Sherlock Holmes stuff.
Yep.
So it's kind of that kind of part too. So you're like, oh man.
Yeah, it just becomes a job at that point, straight up.
Yeah. So that's kind of where you've become a victim of your greatest creation. So it's. But I love, Sherlock Holmes or Sherlock, the television show, I think is fantastic. Although that ending. I actually saw something. There's a movie that they're making, in the last season when they dealt with Sherlock Holmes' sister.
Oh, see, I was trying to remember what happens in that, like what the arc of,
He kept having relatives pop up because we know about Mycroft, obviously.
Mycroft is fine. I'm fine with
Mycroft.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Mycroft was
Mark Gatiss. Mark Gatiss, who plays Mycroft, who directs and writes a lot of Doctor Who stuff. He's in a lot of Doctor Who. He's even in classic Doctor Who.
And he's also from the Bankers Guild or whatever on Game of Thrones.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Where they go to Bravos and
Bravos Banker
have to settle the debt.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I wanted more with him or with that. That was just like whatever. Well, let's not. We won't get into that. Maybe we can. We can get into whatever we want.
That's the beauty of the JillStream.
But do we really want to bitch about Game of Thrones again?
No.
Probably not.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, I mean, she's tried a couple times with a different pen name. She tried. I didn't read her. Did you? Her mystery novels that I don't remember what they were called after Harry Potter.
I love when writers write stuff as a pen name under a pen name and put the shit out, and it's a moderate success, and then the publishing company will re-release the book again and they'll go Stephen King writing as and
Mm.
put it. They'll make sure his name's on there so they can sell more. Because once it gets out there that, oh, this was actually Stephen King, wink, wink, then people will want to look for it, and they flood the bookstores looking for the book. So Stephen King writing as Daniel Bluth or whatever. This is one pen name. He wrote like 10 stories under this.
I feel like the J.K. Rowling's was even advertised before it came out, though. It was like, she's writing a book under this different name, blah blah blah. Like, I don't even think it was an attempt, really. It was more like another, cash grab.
My ex, she's a big Harry Potter fan, and she actually never read the Fantastic Beasts stories. She didn't know about them.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, I kind of heard something. I was like, wait a minute, you're a big Harry Potter fan. You didn't read Fantastic Beasts?
I'm a pretty big Harry Potter fan, too. I read all the books more than once, and I haven't read those. I don't care.
And then she watched the movie with me.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually what
I still haven't seen it. Is it worth watching?
The first one I loved. The second one does get a little darker, and I think they let Johnny Depp do whatever he wanted.
Oh, Johnny Depp's in it? Why does everything have to be a franchise or more than one?
Well, there were 3 books. There were 3 Fantastic Beasts books.
Oh.
So there's a...
Yeah, I was like, I'm cool. Like, I'm cool with Harry Potter. The world is enough for me. That I don't need more than that. But hey, other people might want more. That's fine.
That's one of the things. Because here's the thing: I'm a big fan of Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm. So am I. I like Johnny Depp.
They like, hey, just do whatever the hell you want, Johnny. You're Johnny Depp. Just let you do. And
he's gone off the rails a long time ago.
Yeah, and that's kind of where the Pirates of the Caribbean movies kind of derailed. Because like the first one, he actually got nominated for an Oscar for.
I like the first one. The first one's fun. It's a good character. By the time he gets to,
I love those. The special effects were incredible. And
is that the one with the
Davy Jones
locker and all that? That's fine. I don't like anything with Orlando Bloom and who's the woman? Not Natalie Portman, the other one. That looks like Natalie Portman, the British one. Keira Knightley. I just don't care. Like, okay, great. They don't love each other. They love each other. And also the action just starts to get really boring and like wash over me. Everything kind of just starts to wash over me with that franchise. Like, I'm good with the first movie. I do like parts of I like the concept of the Davy Jones and all that stuff, but all in all, it's just it's all the same, and it just I'm good.
I'm actually not sure about that. I knew there was going to be at least 3 of the Fantastic Beasts movies. I don't know. 7 is a bit much, but I'd have to look at and if they did the last one in 2, because you know how that's one of the main reasons they broke that last Harry Potter up into 2 movies, because they were like, oh shit, we're out of Harry Potter movies, and the book was so big anyway. They were like, yeah, we'll just split it into 2 movies. And that made them a ton of money, because both of those movies made like $400-500 million a piece.
Part 1 and part 2 filled with a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff gets thrown in there in that last book, kind of.
But yeah, so like, it's actually kind of, it's like when I had dinner with a old friend of mine that I used to work at Amazon with, and he relocated to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't seen him in person. We still talk on the phone and text each other. So we've done really good about keeping in contact with each other. But he's opening up another building. You know, that's one thing, like when you get into management at Amazon, they want you to travel all around the country and stuff. He's like, oh, I got to go to Seattle. Oh, I got to go to Philadelphia. Oh, okay, I'm going to Oklahoma. Let me go to Phoenix or something, you know, and you're having to go all over the place. So at that point, you know, I mean, makes a nice, you'll make a lot of money, but you don't really see much of your home.
Right.
So,
right.
But he gets stock options, and, you know, but he was like, hey, I'm going to be in town for 3 weeks. And he got in Tuesday morning. He texted me, he said, hey, I'm in town. And he tried, you know, we were doing the JillStream on Wednesday, and so he was like, hey, let's go get dinner. And I was like, I've got a blast. I said I'd be free like after 7. He was like, said, I'll tell you what, why don't we get together on Thursday? And so he said, I'm treating. He said, we can get whatever you want. And I mean, man, we did it up. I mean, that bill was like $200.
Where did you go? Or what did you guys have? Or what did you do?
A place called the Chop House here in town. And
we like
went
steaks and stuff.
Yeah, they have everything. But he likes seafood. So he had some shrimp and pasta, and then he had halibut. And he didn't finish half his food. I got a to-go box for mine. So I had prime rib. I had a $31 prime rib this morning.
I love prime rib. So good.
And
I love au jus.
So yeah, I had worked at Amazon BNA3 for 7 years, and I had like 15 managers the whole time I was there. It was crazy. Like I was in outbound in pack, and we would just go through managers like crazy. But at that point, when I met Tracy, I had pretty much given up. I was like, I used to love Amazon. I thought I was going to be there forever and want to retire from there and everything. And then it just became a job. I was like, this is a job. I'm coming here. I started noticing that they seem to become more about their numbers and everything. And I was just like, okay, I thought this was going to be a career. This is just like, I might as well go flip burgers. They don't give a damn about me. And this is I'm just packing sex toys and DVDs all day. That's because we sold a lot of sex toys. So a lot of like, whenever the new, like say the new Call of Duty would come out, I'd get a tote with like 60 Call of Duty cartridges in it. And I'm just sitting there packing. I was packing on singles line, bloop, 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 and you have to pack. I mean, they work you like you're a machine in there. They're like, okay, the rate over here is 80, 85 units an hour. So you have to
they
pack.
Always want better, I assume, too, which then becomes impossible.
That's the thing, because when I first started packing the singles, I was packing on single larges, and I was packing single larges, and the rate over there was 60 units an hour. Fast forward by the 7th year, the rate over there had gotten to 85 units an hour. And it wasn't always easy to get that 60 units an hour.
Well, right, because so that's a minute per.
Yeah, you have to.
So now you're down to way less than a minute per at 85. Yeah,
I had to train a couple people. You have to train them, because you have to. They have the pack station set up, but once there's like I think about that scene in Men in Black 2, where they go to the post office. Where they go to the post office, they pull that thing back, and there's that one alien in there with like 4 arms, and he's like, whoa. And I mean, that's how Amazon's pack station was set up. They got all the boxes around you. There's some down on the ground, and
I assume they don't like errors either. Like they want you fast, and you better not fuck up.
If you have too many errors, someone will come and talk to you. Yes, because you're costing them money.
Right, but they want you to be as fast as the speed of light while making no errors. Yeah, it's stupid.
So, like, I'm on the single. So the good thing is I've packed. We have singles line, we have multis line, and then towards the end there, they brought in. They started wanting to do soft line, which is clothing. Soft line. So that's why I know some people, I'm sure listening to this, have gotten those Amazon order bags. Maybe they ordered a shirt or something and it came in like a little bag with just the postage on it. So we started getting those, and they ran those rates up to like 200 something units an hour. There were people over there that was like, they were like, put that shirt in and, put that bra in that bag and send it down like, bloop, 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 bloop. And I was trained to work problem solve and do all this stuff. So I was down there on the kick out, and there was so many people throwing, if you've got packers, it's a double-sided line. They kind of set it up, or what we call a snake. So I'm on pack station on the left, the other person's on the right. And then behind me, there's somebody else on the left, and then there's somebody else on the right. And so you go boom, boom, boom. And so by the time there's 12 on each side, so you can have 20, 24 people. And then there's a problem solver as well. So you can have 24 people packing on one kick out. If the rate on that line is 200 units an hour, and you got 24 people that are, even if they're not making rate and they're just doing like 125, 130 units an hour, and you got that many people because everybody, they're not looking. They're like, because
how can you?
Yeah, because this is the thing. You pull a tote down, you scan. When I train, you had to because it becomes subconscious. You're not even thinking about it. You're grabbing the item, you run it under the scanner, you scan the tote, because the tote keeps track of everything that's supposed to still be in the tote. Boop. Okay, so now it's telling you, you look on your screen and it's showing you that you have 37 items in this tote. So you grab the tote, boop. Okay, now you're scanning the tote. So now you have to grab the individual item, scan the UPC code. Boop. Okay, that goes in a bag. Boom. Okay, this item is clothing, but it goes in a box and it tells you what size. And you have to, but most of the stuff you grab, and you just have to put it in one item in the, okay, so grab that bra and put it in a 2X bag. Boop, boom. And then you scan the spool. Now it's hot. You throw it over there. Boom. So you're like, boop, boop, boop. And you do that. Once you get in a rhythm and you're starting, man, I just packed like 200 items, and you do that for like 4 hours and then you get a break. You have to pack. And at the end, and they keep coming up to you. That you see the managers walking around with the laptops. Okay. And they go,
where
okay,
you're at.
Yeah, because the managers are like, okay, we've got a drop off going on at this station. We don't know what's going on. And sometimes it's I noticed they would look and because their screen starts flashing. When I started learning problem solve, some of the managers will show me some of the stuff that I was like, okay, so it's flashing because someone is supposed to be packing. Like if you stop packing for up to like 3 or 4 minutes, they start getting a notification. Mm-hmm. Okay, you have scanned another item in like 3 minutes. So now we have to investigate.
What would be the reason for that, I guess? Like, did you ever come across problems in the scanning process, but like before it gets to you, like you get it and somehow it's wrong? Or
yeah, and sometimes like when we at the warehouse, and the warehouse was like 1.2 square miles. It was big. Because when I get new trainees, I would have to take them around and do a tour with them and show them. We go to okay, so now we're in receive. Now we're on the ship dock. Okay, so when they receive it, they break it down. You take it off the pallet, you slice it, you check everything in. Okay, we've got 1,000 units here. Boop, 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 boop. And put labels on everything. Boom. All right, everything's set. Now you send it over to receive. We'll send it to stow, and then stow will put it up, and then when they it's ready to get picked, we get a notification. The pickers will pick it from stow, and then once the pickers send it up to sort, and then sorts it, and then they send it to the final step, which is the packers in outbound. And so not
as cool as if you were managing, like, say, warehouse 13 or something like that.
I gotta be honest, like right when peak, right after when Black Friday's about to hit, it was kind of cool being in that Amazon building, because it's you remember that movie Ants, the Pixar movie, where the ants are having to, like, throughout the year they're building that pile of grain for the grasshoppers or whatever.
Right.
So right now, up until the day before Black Friday, Amazon, my building that I was at, they're bringing in all this shit right now and getting ready for Black Friday. That's what they're doing hoarding right now. They're bringing everything in. So I would take the new employees, and there was a place that, on the mezzanine, and you could stand and look over, and you look down and you see all that shit in there.
And they'd look like little ants.
You would just look, and it's like right now we have over 18 million items in this building right now in BNA3. So it's like right now there are over 18 million units in this, and by peak we're gonna have about 30 million or so. And so and I was like, everybody was like, I took them on tour, and they was like, damn, there's an Xbox. Oh my God. When the PlayStation 3 launched at our building, and we had the PlayStations, they started sending the PlayStations to us. We had them about a month and a half, almost 2 months before they were supposed to be. So they apparently somebody knocked off an Amazon truck that had the goods on it, because they were like, and you saw, like, on eBay, people were like selling because they were selling for like $500-$600 because these weren't even available on the streets
right.
yet. And so this was
They're hot.
They were so nervous that somebody was going to get the small amount. And when I say a small amount of PlayStation 3s, I'm saying we had like 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 1,500 PlayStation. So they cleared in outbound. There were pack stations over there. They moved all the pack stations from that entire area. And then when you walk back there was nothing but Xbox Ones and PS3s. And there was like a mountain they had like mountain. There was like a little mountain here. There's a mountain there.
Yeah.
There's a mountain to Xbox One. There's another mountain to Xbox One. And then they had security come in and they put 4 cameras trained. It looked like a Mission Impossible scene. It's like they was wanting you to pull up and try to do whatever. Because they were like, yo, they had 4 cameras trained on the PlayStation 3s and Xbox Ones. And it was because the Xbox One was launching too.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is going to be one of our biggest Christmases ever with both of these systems launching. And there's a lot of people, because I remember when I had to start packing the PlayStations, boy, that sucked being on that line. I was just like,
because you just want one?
No, it was a pain in the ass to pack.
Oh.
It was a pain. It's a big, and then you gotta, and because here's the problem. Apparently, we messed up and sent a couple of PlayStation 3s out, and they got to the customers and the boxes was all banged up and everything. So we got reamed out. And so before we start our shift, we would go to stand up. And so we go to stand up. And so our area manager and the department manager, they would come and they said, okay, we need to go over the procedures for packing the PlayStation 3s and the Xboxes. So they actually had to talk to all of us. And they showed us, they said, this is what we want you to do when you pack a PlayStation 3 or Xbox One. So we had the bubble, because we have a bubble wrap machine. Okay. So the little, and so we had to learn how to change those. So there's a bubble wrap. And so we'd make the bubble. So you lay out a nice thing of bubble wrap, and then you would stick the PlayStation 3 in there. And then you would take another layer of bubble wrap, and then you would tape the box up and send it out. That's how they wanted it done, because they don't want, the thing at that. I mean, when it launched, the PlayStation 3 was costing like $600.
Yeah.
So Amazon don't want to be on the hook having to play. Yeah, $600 a pop.
They don't want any of them coming back.
Yeah, so it was kind of a bad thing. So it was like, look, we're gonna show you guys what we want to do, and such. And then I was like, oh, it was terrible. But man, that was a long peak, because when Black Friday happened, they have all them sales, and then you got the flat screen TVs, and but I was mostly on the smaller lines and stuff, where it was like medium sized items, like something like there's a little tape thing or something like that. You're like, okay, throw that in the box, put some tape in there, send it on. And that's how we would do it. And and I happened to meet a young lady there, and I'd always told myself, even if you like somebody, you probably shouldn't date people that you work with.
Probably not.
Because once that happens, if it doesn't work out, it gets rather awkward.
Issues can arise.
And
will.
But I happened to be on kick out with her. We were in the back. So when the Packers send the stuff down, there's a little runway, and everything's coming down, and you have to make sure everything's laid out on the runway. It's like, boom, you lay it out and make sure that the barcode is up on the bag or the box, because they have all these lasers scanning. And so it goes, oh, okay. So it's like, what the item, it will do like this. Okay. So here's 2 items. So it's like, okay, there's one, there should be a little bit of space between, and now you can put another item on. So then it's like, scan, moves, scan, moves, scan, move, scan, move. So that's how it would go. So at that point, sometimes the packer would not put the SPU, the UPC label where the laser could read it, and then it would kick out. Especially when you're doing the stuff with those bags. If you don't have that bag on there nice and flat, that laser is not going to scan it. So all of a sudden you get 30, or sometimes they're trying to be fast, and the bags, they have this tape, they have this adhesive tape.
Yeah.
And so it would get stuck to the conveyor. And so I saw all kind of, I had to tell them, I said, look, I don't want to work back there no more. I told them straight up. And they were like, no, Antonio, we need you to help us. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to, I'd rather, they was like, well, if you don't do this, you're just going to be packing. I said, that's not a threat to me. I will just pack. I'm cool. I don't want it, because if you don't do kick out for us, we can't let you do any indirect. I said, I'm cool. I'd rather just, and there was a couple of managers who was like, hey man, I'm shorthanded on kick out. Will you help me tonight? Okay. And I go back here and I'll help. But being on kick out, it could be rough, especially like when you was on the singles line where it's like 200 units an hour, because when the thing kicks out, you're not just getting one item kicking out. You get like 40 items kicked out, and then you're having to fix 40 packages and then still make sure that
is it like Lucy and Ethel, the chocolate factory?
Yeah. With man, that's a great analogy. That's exactly how it would be. It was like, oh my God.
I'm picturing it.
And I remember when I first trained on kick out, and I panicked, and they were like, don't panic. And I panicked. That was bad. So it was like
you just started getting flustered, like, whoa.
Yeah, because man, it's like, I'm telling you, every bad thing that could happen happened to me all at once. My printer jammed. I had a package get jammed, and you had to take this. There's this long, and the stick, there's a pole. It was like 17 feet long. It was because the package, sometimes you could look down because it's going down this ramp after it's stamped. And sometimes there would be, so it would stamp and process the package. And then once it goes down, all of a sudden, because we use water tape, and when it would be done, all of a sudden the package would explode, and it's down there on the conveyor. And I'm like, and so now it's getting jammed up, and oh my God.
So you have this hell of long pole that you just come
so I'm having to go
unwedged packages.
And then I'm on the radio. I was like, hey guys, we got a package jammed up here on line 5. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna be down. It's like, Antonio, we need you to get this line going back. Hey guys, I'm calling you. I'm telling you the package is jammed up. I'm trying to fix it now. Okay, we're sending someone over here now. And so I'm like, we're going, because we have
you're expected not to stop.
Yeah, because the truck is waiting. The truck is downstairs on the ship dock. So
I gotta get my next day delivery.
Yeah, especially when they started doing that guaranteed next day shit.
Unreasonable.
They don't have time at that point. So they're like, yo, get your shit together. Can you not handle this? Or we'll get somebody else down there that can handle it. And I'm like, it wasn't my fault that the package exploded. I was working. Let me tell you what happened. Because when we went to Softline, we started getting rid of some of the chemicals that we have in the building, because we were selling like perfumes, we were selling bug sprays, all kind of different chemicals. De-icer. One thing, we sold a lot of de-icer, right? So someone bought a case of de-icer. It was like 6 of them in the box. So the packer packed them, and they were kind of sloppy how they packed them. So they packed them in, and they didn't put any kind of dunnage in there. They didn't put in the bubble stuff. So you got the six bottles of this de-icer, and when they're on the conveyor, that shit is bound, boom, boom. It's just going around.
Well, when it gets on a truck, it'll do the same thing. Yeah.
Well, that's why they want you to put the dunnage in there, the bubble wrap, to keep the stuff, because the packages are and they're just going all around.
Bang around.
So this is what happened. So I'm on line 5. I remember this as clear as day. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden I see the maintenance, the facilities guys. They're in there because the facilities guys, they have to keep the line. The lines, trust me, when I'm telling you, couple times a night, couple times a shift. So we run 2 shifts, the day shift and the night shift. I'm telling you, when especially when you have high volume, where you're doing CPT time, when we're trying to get the promised orders, the next day delivery orders out, and you've got to get, okay, we've got, it's like, okay, guys, we got a busy night tonight. We've got 76,000 units we got to process. And then when we have like triple the amount of people working during peak, during the holidays, they say, okay, guys, big night. We've got 478,000 units we have to process tonight. Jeez. So you see how big that jump was? We went from 74,000 units.
Yeah.
So now it's peak. We got to process. I remember I worked one night and we processed, because we came in the next night, we had set a record. We processed over 1 million units that night. It was peak. Corporate, when corporate was like, oh my God, you guys processed 1.2 million units last night. They was like, they were so happy.
Did you get anything for that?
No,
like as a team or anything?
I got an attaboy from the ops.
Not even a flipping like gift card for a
no, they didn't give us.
Jesus.
They just the operations manager came.
That's pathetic.
And he was standing there with the area manager, and he was like, guys, we really want to thank you for all your hard work. This is amazing. The work that you broke a record last night. I was like, my ass is tired. I don't want to keep doing that shit no more.
Well, they could have at least given you a pizza party or something.
No, they did, but they would have challenged like during peak. That is what during peak season, they know everybody's tired. So they'll go, okay, so this is what we're gonna do when we do snack break on peak. And they go, okay, we're gonna have a pizza party, and so they would order 50 pizzas from Papa John's, and Papa John's had some kind of deal with them. They was giving us like 50% off because of the big orders. I mean,
so they get the cheapest pizza possible.
Well, I mean, yeah, they would have a couple of like sausage pizzas. They would have a couple of cheese pizzas, pepperoni, supremes. They would have, like I said, it's 50 pizzas. They would order everything because I know the man I ate with last night. He had a pizza party. We had a employee that was leaving, and he was like, this guy was on my crew for almost a year. I'm going to take care of him. I'm going to have a pizza party. And man, we went downstairs, and he spent like $200 something on pizza. But I mean, he's making like $100 some thousand a year. So he was like, and so I knew he wasn't hurting, but my God, but we had people from other parts like, wait a minute, what are you doing here? You ain't in getting
free food.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wait, but showing up. Antonio, what happened with the de-icers?
I'm getting to that, but I have to.
Oh yeah, I thought you had forgotten about it.
No, I haven't. But
I
no,
was like,
so
what happened
all
to those de-ice cans?
No, I was just telling you about all the money he was spending. But no, so I'm on line 5. On line 5, and the maintenance guys are there, and they're in on line 6 because the printer's jammed up. The adhesive on the tape, if you look on your Amazon box, there's just it just stamps, right? So there's actually like a little hose, and it shoots air. So like when the stamper is touching, it's giving it a little burst, a little squirt of air to go like that. It's like, it's like, and that way it'll help to mash that little adhesive sticker down. Yeah. I actually have, I've got, I don't want to show anybody's address, but these stickers are very similar to the ones that I have on Amazon. They were very, very similar to the type, the little, except the Amazon sticker machine that will print the labels. These, matter of fact, let me pull it because I've got a couple of orders I'm trying to get processed right. So you see this little, this is the label, and it has, I think it has 220. It has 220 labels on this one little roll, right? And I had to buy a whole case of this stuff, right? The one at Amazon is like, you see how small this is? The one at Amazon is like this.
Yeah, you can't be changing that out every 5 minutes at Amazon. So
this one has 220 on it. The one at Amazon would have like 2,220. It's like, so it would be this, but it would be, and I'm talking like you would, and I'm telling you, I could lift weights and my arms would get strong if I was lifting it, because you would look over and they would have a big pile, and there would be like 50 of these printers, because on the busier lines, you're going to have to change your printers probably 3, maybe 4. During peak, you might have to change. And if you don't know how to change a printer, you're in trouble, because ain't nobody there to hold your hand. Sometimes, like if you're good enough, like I got good enough where they would like, all right, you watching 3 lines. And I was like, I don't want to watch 3 lines. Are you out of your mind? And so, and the lines are spread out. So I might be on line, I might be on 4 and 5. 4 and 5 are together. So 4 runs, the manager, and I get mad at my friend Tracy that I had dinner with last night because he was like, hey man, we're kind of slow on line 5. Go over there and watch line 5 for me. And then he would slide and bring Packers over to line 4. So now I've got 2. I turn around and I'm like, you got me on 2 lines. And you don't have to, we don't have anybody else to put over here. You got to run 2 lines. So now I'm having to run back and forth and walk. And then they go, catch line 6. And line 6 is way over there. So I have to run my 4 and 5. And then I had to go over to line 6. And I said, okay, after lunch, I need to be packing. I don't want to. No, you're on kick out tonight. And I'm like, no, fuck that. Put me packing. Because I'm like, you got me running 3 lines and I'm not getting any extra money. You guys don't give me any extra money for this shit. So I'm not running 3 lines. I'd rather just pack. And they get mad at me. Because I was like, you guys don't do right.
They always want more for nothing.
Yeah, and they said
and then you're the asshole for not wanting to give it. It's like, sometimes you gotta watch out for yourself.
Well, that was one of the things, because I got evaluated. That was one of the things they told me. They was like, Antonio, we like your work, but we do feel sometimes that you kind of complain when we just need you to be a team player and kind of get things done. And I'm like, because y'all be bullshitting. That's why I was like, if I see y'all doing some bullshit, I'm going to say something. Because I'm like, why would you have me? It's already hard enough to like run 1 line. And then
it's how the value of human life to companies like that have basically become nothing.
Yeah, and trust me, at Amazon, it was always about the numbers. It was always about the numbers. So I'm sitting there going, okay, y'all don't give a damn about me. And then so they get somebody else up there. I was like, I said, fuck this. I'll go back and pack. And they go, Antonio, did you leave the pack? Did you leave kick out? And I said, yeah, they was bullshitting. And they was like, so you don't want to go back? I was like, no, y'all can kiss my ass with that shit. I didn't do kick out again for like a year and a half. It was crazy, outside of maybe going during when they was trying to need help. But this was one of those nights. This is when Tracy was my man. So he eased me back in. So I'm on line 5. I look across because like I said, line 5 and line 6 and 7, there was a big walkway gap. That's why I'm saying. So when I have to run 4 and 5 and then have to run over to line 6 because it got jammed. And I'm like, I'm the only one running 3 lines. This is bullshit. Get some help over here. And, but this was not one of those nights. I was running 4 and 5, but line 6 had an operator on it and line 7 had an operator on it. So, but line 6 is jammed up. Facilities is over there. They're fixing it. They're putting the new printers on. All right, yeah, they fixed it once and it jammed again. They couldn't figure out what was going on, right? So there were 2 facilities. Then there was a 3rd guy over there. And I was like, so they got 3 people over there trying to fix. And I mean, they actually, because there's a double printer on each line. So the packages would come and you see it would go. And so like when I have to change one of the printers out, I have to pause one printer. Okay, so this thing's about to run out of tape. So I have to pause it. So now I'm running on a double line. I'm only running 1 printer because that one still got tape on it. So now it's just, and now because it's only 1, it's slowing the Packers up because they're like, the fuck, man, the line started slow. Because now I got 15 Packers up there, and they're like, because the printer is down to 1, the stamper, they're looking at me. And they're going, dude, get the line back up. Because now they can't put their packages on the line because the machine has slowed down considerably because they can't.
Never mind, you're screwing up their numbers now.
Yeah. So, now they're like, hey.
It's a team, guys.
And then so like the PA, the process assistant would come along and say, hey, man, what's going on? And I said, dude, I'm getting the damn line changed. You see this shit. Oh, you need some help? I was like, yeah, we don't have anybody. Nobody else is kick out train. I'm like, okay. So, okay. And then so he's on the radio. He's like, hey, Antonio's over here changing the printer out. We'll get the line back up. He's down to 1. So the worst thing that could happen is, like I said, you wanted to go, You want that. If it's just going, you're in trouble. Especially if the line is loaded. Like if it's 24 packers on the line and it's just going one at a time, you're screwed because you needed to keep, it's an assembly line. You needed to keep going.
Yeah, it's got to keep pace.
So I'm down to one printer now and it's just going. And they're all like, yo, Antonio, what's up, man? Get the line moving. And I'm like, yo, hold on. I'm trying to get this. And so I get it, you know, and one of the worst things you could do when you're trying to change the print tape out is to rush because you got all the angry packers like cussing you out and everything.
Yeah,
and so
you'll mess up.
You need to follow the steps and make sure that put that around there, read the little tape, boom, boom, boom. You need to do all that, right? So at that point, because if you rush through, because I made that mistake and I let them rattle me, and I messed up. So then when I activated it messed up again and the tape broke. So then I had to start all the way over again and shut it back down. And so I was like, at that point, when they start swearing at me, I was just like, fuck, no, let me just tune y'all out. That's when you have to learn to tune people out. And it's like, okay, so I'm focused. So I'm running. And now I'm looking over ahead of me and I see, like I said, originally there was two, because her printer, and I was like, that's the line I was on last night. I had been on line 6 the night before. I told them that printer was that the stamp, one of the stamp machines, it looked like when the taper jammed, some of the adhesive from the sticky, because it's so, you print several thousand labels, that glue starts
going to build up. It like
exactly
caught in the gears or whatever.
And so it'll run for like 10 minutes and then it's going to get jammed again. So at that point, the facilities guy, he was like, yeah, I got to shut down one of these. So I looked, the kick out operator, she's down to, so he's trying to get her shit fixed. And I'm on 5. And so they said, hey, Antonio, we're going to start bringing some of her packers. She was having so many packages piled up that they actually put them on a dolly cart and brought that shit over to my line. So they like triple loaded my line. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of having a busy night, but at least. And then so I hear Tracy, hey, Bryce has got an extra line on 4. Drop everything over there. No, don't drop this shit over here. Don't bring it. And all of a sudden, they're bringing carts and carts and carts of packages. And so now I'm really busy. I was barely handling the 2 lines I had, but 6 is messing up and they're having to shut it down. So they're pulling all those packages and hey, we got to get these slammed down. Here comes Tracy. Hey man, what's going on? He's jumping in my ass. And I'm like, dude, this is one of my best friends. I love this guy. And he was like, it was like a couple hours later because I didn't want to talk to him when I was mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
And
understandable.
And because I love this man. You know what I'm saying? This dude, I was laying in the hospital. I almost died at Amazon when they first found out I was diabetic. And I had way too much sugar and my kidneys was shutting down and stuff. And they had to take me to the emergency room. And so I'm laying in the hospital with tubes all in me and an IV drip. And guess who came to the hospital to see me? It was this man that I had dinner with last night. Yeah. He actually drove me home. This man called and checked him. So I love this man. Do you understand? But he pissed me off. Hey, bring everything over to Bryce's line. Boom. So I'm like, they dump all this shit on me. And now my shit is blowing up because they have overloaded my lines. Boom, boom, boom. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm. He's getting pressure. You get pressure. The other people get pressure,
but I worked through it. And we got through the rush. We managed to get. We only missed like 2 CPTs for that whole because we have a 9 o'clock CPT and then they have a midnight CPT and then they have one at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So we have 3 CPT times during the shift. And like during that messed up period, even with the thing messing up, we only lost the 1. We only like 2 or maybe 2 CPTs for the, and one of them wasn't our fault because it was in problem solving. They didn't know where the package was. They were like, yo, they're checking the computer and the thing's flashing because they were like, yo, you gotta get the CPT out, and they can't figure out whether there was only one of this particular item in the entire building, and it was sitting in problem solving. They didn't know where it was there. So, oh yeah, so it was beautiful. So, but either way, we got through it, right? So now everything's calm, and I'm just back in the line is back to normal speed.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed again, so the facilities guys, like I said, they're trying to get because this is like the third time I've seen them come over there and try to fix what is going on with the line on line 6. And so I look, and all of a sudden, my friend Jimmy, he's doing he's on pallet duty. He's doing pallet. So like, it's his job to go around to each line and check the reserve stock on boxes and tape and all that stuff. He's like, okay, so we need you to go and fill up a pallet of the shrink wrap and bring that over to line 3, then go over to line 4 and bring B2As, bring 1AE boxes, bring 1A5 boxes, bring he had a list. Yeah, he's busy the whole night just dragging these heavy ass. They tried to get me to do pallets, and that's a long night. But there was a couple of my friends that loved it. They loved it. They was like, yeah, man, you getting paid. I was like, there's so much. But this guy Jimmy, he was training. There was a guy that was like, hey, why don't I get to do the pallet duty like Jimmy? And they was like, because nobody ever wants to do this shit. You want to do it? Sign up for the list. So he signed up, and Jimmy tried to train him, and he goes, hey man, you do this all night? And Jimmy's like, yeah, this is the job. He didn't want to do this. He didn't want to do the shit no more after that, because he didn't realize how much work it was.
Mm-hmm. Like just labor intensive.
Like because I'm telling you, you're dragging these heavy ass. You have to, it's a big dolly, and with the air pump. And you slide it up under, and it's a pallet. It's an actual pallet. So you have to take that, and then you have to drag it like 4 lines down and plant it. And then you hit the button, and the pallet drops it. All right, now you got to go get another one. And so you're doing that all night long. Mm-hmm. And, hello, Lidal. I think that Lidi law, but hello.
It seems like every job there, though, is repetitive. I mean,
yeah, and I mean that's what it is, because when you get in a path,
you can handle that.
Yeah, that's what they say when they put you in path. Whatever path if you're in problem solve, you're in problem solve path. You're in pack. Let me see. You can call me Lidl. Easy. Well, hello, Lidl. All right, cool. That'll work. Welcome to the JillStream. So, but yeah, once if you're in sort or pick or whatever path you're in. You're either going to be there all night or you're going to be there half the night. Because like if you're doing, like if it's during CPT time, okay, send 20 packers down to pick and have, and a lot of times the packers that cross train, they regret, because that's how you move up at Amazon, because they want you cross train. They want you to learn. It's because I learned I learned sort. I've been in receive, I'd work, and then so you learn all these different jobs, so then you can cross train. So like I said, so my night is getting back to normal, but line 6 is still messing up. And my man Jimmy, he's doing pallet duty. He walks past, and I said, hey, because my nose is real sensitive. I don't smoke, so my nose is super sensitive to smoke, and they don't allow any smoking in the building. Like if you're at Amazon, you have to go outside to smoke. They have break rooms and little smoke area. They have a couple of smoke areas outside. I started smelling something, smell like something burning. I said, hey, you smell something burning? Jimmy goes, no, he's a heavy smoker though. So he didn't smell shit. I was like, you smell something burning? So I see the 2 facilities guys today. I go, hey, they look at me. I'm waving. I said, do you guys smell something burning?
Oh, God.
They looked at me like I was the biggest dumbass on the planet. Hand to God. I'm telling these guys, I was like, I knew I smelled something burning. I knew. They looked at me like, oh, this guy's an idiot. And they went back to working on lines. So I was like, okay. All of a sudden, I look over to my right. Over to where the flat sorter is. And here comes this box with the de-icers in it, the 6 de-icers in it. Apparently, all that knocking around on the line had busted one of them open, and there was a wire. There was a wire on one of the conveyors that was a little loose, and the flammable liquid and the wire connected.
Wow.
And guess what happened? A nice, beautiful fire. So this package came down the conveyor and it was on fire and it started catching. Oh yeah. Because I said, hey guys, we got a fire over here online.
Oh my God.
And here comes the third. Remember, I told you there had been a third facility. He comes, and they say no running in the building. This dude is running. He said, hey, there's a big fire, bring it out. I go, and I get back up. I was like, guys, there is a fire. Okay, guys, shut it down. Move the packers out. We've got a fire. All of a sudden, they hit the thing starts flat. Because I'm like, yeah, we was in panic mode.
Sprinklers go or anything?
Yeah, it was it was no sprinklers.
No sprinklers?
Although we had a pipe bust before I got to work one night, and then when I got to the you got to go home because the whole thing's flooded up there and they got to fix it. So yeah, I said, so I can just go, but I was cool with it because I was like, I really don't want to work tonight. And they said, hey, we've got a flood. We're not going to be back open until tomorrow.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah. And so I just went and got me some burgers and went home.
Free night.
And so I was like, I can use my vacation time. Yeah, we'll pay you for the 8 hours for the night. Cool, boom. All right, cool, peace.
Wait, you had to use vacation time for that?
Well, they weren't just going to pay you.
Well, that's their bad, not yours. That's bullshit.
Well, yeah, whatever. I had to use my. Well, I mean, it's either that or just go home and not get paid at all. I mean, that was the two choices I had.
Well, they could afford to have paid everyone that night.
I don't disagree. Trust me, as much money as we were making for Amazon, they could have paid us. But I just used.
I mean, just like that million night, like you guys could have all gotten a $25 gift card to fucking wherever.
I would have been real happy.
Come on, right? You would have been happy.
Oh yeah, appreciate
Instead,
that.
you got nothing.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
Well, I bet you anything, a slew of gift cards like that is something that they can easily like write off or something. Like I bet something like that would cost them literally nothing.
They did some giveaways during peak. They did some giveaways during peak, and they like, if you have perfect attendance, they say, okay, this going up to the last week before, because I think peak ends 2 days before Christmas Eve. Because if we don't get it out like a day or so before Christmas Eve, then it's a wrap, and they know the package isn't going to get there, right? So by then, so like 2 days before Christmas Eve, then peak is over. So it's like the 23rd or whatever, the 21st. So at that point, okay, guys, peak is over. So now you can't put vacation time in during peak. You can't do any of that stuff. So it's like there is no if you got personal time, they will allow you to use it because it's personal time. You got unpaid time, they'll let you. They give you 80 hours of unpaid time and 48 hours of personal time every year. So that's what, and then your vacation accrues. You get vacation every 2 weeks. So for every 3 hours,
8 hours of 2 days of personal time.
Yeah,
really.
But the shift,
that's pathetic, actually.
Well, actually, the 48 hours is actually 1, 2, 3. It's actually almost 5 days because the shift at Amazon is 10 hours.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So it's 48 hours. So you'd have to use 2 hours of unpaid time, but you'd have a total of 4. You could take a week off with that for 10-hour shifts. But it accrues very slowly. Like you work 3 hours and they give you half an hour of personal time, that kind of thing. So like I said, so at this point, once they realize I was for real and there is an actual fire going on and we go into evacuation mode.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they're like, hey, everybody get out. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So now start shutting the computers and stuff down. Okay. Yeah. They actually called the fire department. The fire department rolled up. They did all that kind of thing and shut the whole bad boy down, right? So they go, Antonio, get out, because I'm still on. They're like, are you still on line 5? I was like, yeah, I'm shutting everything. Get out now. We are evacuating. I was like,
yes, F the computers.
Yeah, well, I had to shut it down though, so I was like, it couldn't just leave it sitting there like that. So I'm trying to. They're like, get out now, and I was like, my big water bottles here and all that. They're like, leave that shit. Let's go. All right. So I decide, since I'm in the back of the line on the kick out, I'm going to go out through the ship dock, which is normally what we do. I go downstairs. There's a young lady, and she's got like earphones in. She's not listening to the.
Oh no!
She is unaware that there is a fire going on.
Is she allowed to wear headphones?
No, she had some kind of thing. Some kind of, I don't know what it is, because now you can't.
I mean, that
wear
doesn't
them.
seem legal, especially if this situation arises. That's
she had her iPhone. She had slipped something in. There were people.
I'm gonna guess that's against company policy.
Yes, it is. Yeah, she was doing something she wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah,
and so I saw her with her. I go, hey, and she saw me. I'm coming down the stairs, and she looks up at me, and she takes it. Yeah, I said, you're supposed to be getting out of here. There's a fire. She goes, what? There's a fire right now. She said, there's a fire? I said, yes, everybody's supposed to be leaving the building. And she was like, oh my God. And she stopped immediately. Okay, so I'm like, we would do fire drills in the building, so we're supposed to go out the back. So I go to the ship dock, and they're going, what are you doing here? And I look, and there's a big fire.
Oh my God.
So once it had come down the ramp, there was a pile of packages. And the one package that was on fire hit the other. And so they're sitting there with fire extinguishers trying to put. So I'm like, there was a couple of $1,000s worth of packages that was sitting there just burning. And there were like 3 guys sitting there going to try to put the fire out and stuff. And like I said, I didn't know that it was the de-icer chemicals. That stuff was super flammable. And it was just too much.
That's scary.
It was crazy. So I looked, and they go, I said, we're supposed to evacuate through the back here. And they said, no, go out the front. Okay. All the times we trained, I was trying to follow the policy.
But in that fire drill, the fire was not right.
Yeah, because the fire drills never had fire. Just like when we do the tornado drill, there was never an actual tornado. So,
oh my God, this makes me think of, I wanted to ask you that. See, so like, I'm in California, right? We don't have tornado drills, but we have earthquake drills in school growing up. You have earthquake drills. Anyway,
we have fire drills and tornado drills, and they have to be conducted at least once every 6 months in the building, because they have to write it up and make sure everybody knows what. So at that point, I tried the proper procedure is to go out the back. So now that I'm looking at this big ass fire, okay, now I got to go out the front. So I go out the front. They got the fire alarm on. They actually allow the security people. Now I know if somebody wanted to steal, this is the perfect, because the security people, because of the fire, they have been told, hey, don't sweep anybody, just let them through. So if I was wanting to grab some stuff, this is the time, because now we're not going to be patted down and swanded and stuff. If it is just so at that point, they go, hey, there's a fire, just let everybody through. And now you don't have to get wanded and checked when you go, because that was the thing. Like when you come in the building, you don't get checked, right? But when you leave the building, you have to put it's like going through the airport, and you have to put your stuff in I put my keychain in the little security thing, slided that, because I know obviously that's going to set off the metal detector. And so I put my hands up and walk through, and 99% of the time it would just go, okay, cool. And then I'm good. But there was a couple of times I remember I had something in my, and it go, and then all of a sudden I got to, all this kind of stuff. So they're not, because of the fire, they're not checking anybody. Hey, just come on through. Boom, boom, boom. So get out there, and now we got to do head count and everything. They had us sit out there for almost 2 hours. Fire trucks show up. So I'm sitting there. At this point, it's getting like 3:30 in the morning.
Man.
Yeah, we was out there for a minute. So it's like, okay, so we sitting out there. And they go, okay, guys, the fire department's leaving. You can go. He said, we're not going to go back to our departments. We're going to go into the main break room. So everybody gets crammed into the main break room, which will hold like about 1,000 people in there. So it's pretty big, but yeah, it was definitely crowded up in that joint. They were and they were being nice and they were handing out snacks and everything. So what they did. So here comes the ops manager. He's in charge of the building for the night. He comes. He said, "Okay, guys. I know some of you guys were wondering, are we going to go back upstairs and get back to work, or what's the deal?" He said, "So here's what we're going to do. We're going to let everybody go home," and everybody goes, "Woo!" I'm like, "You the whole thing," and he goes, "Whoa, hold on, calm down." And they said, "We're also going to pay you for the entire night."
That damn straight.
Everybody went crazy. They were like, "Okay, so we're getting to go home early. We're getting paid for the whole night." So I got paid for like 3 hours I didn't work. And they said, "Okay, there's some stuff." They said, like, "Anybody?" He said, because at that time they had those PS3s up there. So they said, "Okay, if you left something upstairs," because of course I left my shit upstairs because you said just leave it. So I got my coat up there and I got my water bottle and my lunch bag and all that stuff. So I got to go. They said, "Okay, we're going to allow small teams." They had a couple of people that were like ops or HR people, and they would take a team of 5 people up there, let them get their shit, and then you'd have to. So everybody, I was like, "You get your stuff?" "No, my stuff's downstairs. I can just go." "Cool, peace." And that's how it would go. But my shit was upstairs. So I was like, "I got to go upstairs." "All right, let's take you upstairs." "Okay, we're coming upstairs, guys." And so I go up there. I said, I was on the kick out, so I had to go get my stuff. And I had to grab my coat. And I got out there and I hopped in the whip. And I went to Crystal's and got me some burgers and went home. So that's what it was. But I was, because when we came back in the next night, they said, "Yeah, Antonio, you said you smelled something burning and nobody was listening to you." And I was like, "I told y'all, I smell something burning."
Man.
And the 2 facilities guys just thought I was a big idiot. Why was this big idiot saying he smelled something? And then I'm telling you, when I looked over and that package was on fire, and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on?" And that thing went, and like I said, they caught other packages on fire and stuff. And yeah, we had to replace.
Did you guys have to like work twice as hard the next few weeks to make up for it so you didn't get fired?
No. What they do, when that happens, they divert the orders to the next nearest building that has that type of inventory in. We were a training building, so we had a lot of stuff that was in other facilities around the country. So like an area which is, like I said, my man Tracy, that's what he's in town for, because his building in Georgia that is opening up, they're doing soft line. So he hadn't been in our building in like 3 years. So he was like, "Okay." And they weren't doing soft line until maybe a couple months before he went to Georgia. So at that point, he's like, "Okay, so I'm going to be here for 3 weeks." And they're training us on soft line now because, to get him back familiar with everything that he needs to know.
Yeah.
So that, he can, because he's an operations manager. That's a big job at Amazon. Area manager is a big job and operations manager is a big job. So, and then the general manager is in charge of the entire building. So, but the operations manager is in charge of that whole department. So you have the ops is in charge of the shipping department you have an outbound ops and you have an inbound ops. So outbound ops is in charge of everything related to outbound, i.e. shipping, receiving is inbound, but if they're doing any receiving on night shift or day shift, generally if they're, especially like when it's just the outbound ops having the building, then everything has to flow through him. So it's like the ops is that's how we ran it. So ops is in there telling us, "Hey, you guys go home." And after we, like I said, we sat outside for it, and it was cold as hell out there. They gave us these thermal blanket thing.
Oh, really?
There's these they have these emergency fire type blankets. They're like these real shiny blankets. They give you a cap.
You see it on TV. Yeah.
Yeah, you can wrap this thing. It's supposed to keep you warm and stuff. They give you gloves because it was cold as hell out there. I'm telling you, it must have been about 20-something degrees out there. I was freezing my ass off. And so now you got to, but the fire, so then you had to do all that, and they had to get it all corrected and everything. So it was
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was it was an interesting night, but I lived on that story for a while. It was like we get new employees in. Tonio, you remember when that fire happened? Yeah, boy. You know that was just I didn't tell the fire story. They like me telling the fire story because I was like, I told these idiots that I smell something burning, and they just looked at me. It was like, I was like, you must. I was like, this dumb motherfucker keeps saying he smelled fire. I'm like, something's burning. I know I'm smelling something, and then. Ooh, and like the little speed, I see like Ghost Rider package or something. That thing was on fire, and it's going by me, and they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe he did smell something burning."
Oh,
He's like,
thanks.
guys, we got to go. There's a big fire downstairs, and so, you know, and that whole thing. So that's what it was. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, you know, Amazon. There's a reason why they're so busy. And they get all this stuff shipped out and all this, you know. But
we're all buying shit.
But and I gotta be honest, when I would meet young ladies and I would tell them I work for Amazon, that always seemed to help me. That helped me in the dating department. I would
really
because that's who doesn't.
They
order
looked
from
at it
Amazon?
like a steady job kind of thing.
It's a steady job. It pays, you know. Hell, I was making, you know, just, you know, I'm single and I was making like $36,000 a year. And I had I had amazing insurance. The Amazon insurance was incredible. And, you know, like some of my friends were making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. And some of them were making $150,000, $200,000 a year working for Amazon, you know, and that's the thing. So like, you know, my man would tell me about all the little bonuses and stuff that he's getting. He's like, oh yeah, I got to go to Seattle and I got to do this, and they're gonna give me like $15,000 in bonuses and all that. I was like, wow, that must be nice because they're not giving my ass any kind of money like that because I'm just one of the regular ones. But if you get at Amazon and you get where you're starting to make money, when you get into the at least a tier 3 position, and then you can move up to like a level 4 where that's an area manager where they'll give you like a little small level 4 position. A level 4, you could be making at least $70,000 a year. So then if you get bumped up to like L5, you'll be starting making about $85,000, $90,000 a year. You start making, if you get an L6, that's an ops manager. So like a L6 is an ops manager. If you get in those type of positions, you over 100,000.
You're good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You get because it was so funny. Like we spent so much money on dinner last night, and my man was like, "I don't care. They're paying for it." He spent like $200 some for dinner. So it was crazy. So
yeah, if they're paying for it, yeah, you definitely get that $30 prime rib. The big size.
Yeah, he's like, and I mean, yeah, I had alcohol, everything. Yeah, he's like, yeah, they're paying for it. He's like, they pay for it. He's got a night because they had to pay for his hotel room, so he had a nice hotel. He had a suite. He was telling me, oh man, it's nice. He said they would have gave me a rental car if I wanted one, but he just drove his regular car, but he said I had a budget where I could have got a rental car if I wanted one, and then so. Yeah, they gave him a nice room. Like I say, he's gonna be here for about another 2.5 weeks.
You guys gonna hook up again?
Yeah,
hang out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's a really good dude. But like I said, I remember when I was in the hospital and he came to see me, and I was like, I love that brother. That's my dude. But yeah, he yelled at me one time, and it was so funny. Here's the thing. Tracy was in the military. He was in the military for like 22 years, 21, 22 years. He retired from the Army as a major. And so he still gets his Army pay. That's another reason. So it's like, yeah, he's a widower. His wife had passed and he was getting his wife's pension and all. So he had all kind of, he
has incomes, different
incomes. Yeah. I'd gotten into some financial trouble and he's able to just, hey man, let me loan you a couple $1,000 and get you back on your feet. And nice. I paid him back, and he was like, "Oh man, I wasn't expecting you to pay me back." So I'm like, "Yeah, he has resources where he can just help me out sometimes when I've gotten into certain spots." And
so they always say when you lend money, you lend it, knowing that you're never going to get it back, sort of thing. So then when you do, it's like, "Oh shit, you're awesome."
He told me, he was like, "Man, you paid me back so fast. I wasn't expecting you to pay me back that fast." And I was like, "Yeah," because I hate owing people money. But it's nice to know if I have to break that bank open that it's there. But he he had, like he likes to go to. Matter of fact, we talked about making a trip. There's a casino about 3 hours away, and we were talking about going up there because he was like, yo, he likes to gamble because he was living in Maryland. He was at Amazon in Maryland, and there was a casino up there. He's like, man, I went up there and I won like $12,000. And I was
how much is he betting though?
Yeah, he was definitely spending
more than penny slots, that's for sure.
Yeah, because I'm hitting the nickel slots. That's what I do. No. I'm not doing that stuff. But he's up there. He's like, oh yeah, man. He said, I went with this one buddy. He said, he won $40,000 that weekend. Jesus. And I was like,
$40,000. That would be nice.
Yeah. And it was too much. So I was like, yeah, he's because he's got a couple houses. I went to he had a couple cars in the car, so okay, I got a truck, and then I've got my BMW, and then I just got a regular car that I just want to drive around when I don't want to be fancy. So it's like he's got that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, you just drive it. And like 3-car garage or whatever, I was like, okay. I was like, his I think I told you about this because the little area he lives in Atlanta, it was over there by the Tyler Perry studio, and some of the remember I was telling you about those black men and stuff. Yeah, and it was like this nice little black neighborhood over there, and they had so they were it's you have to have the code and everything to get in there. It's private,
gated community.
Yeah, but it was just unlike I've only been to a few gated communities. This is the only gated community I went to that was a black neighborhood.
I can't say that. I don't know that I've ever actually. Maybe once in my life I've actually been in a gated community. Yeah,
it's probably third time I've been to. Like I said, this is the only time I've been to a gated community where the neighborhood was a black neighborhood. So it's just, but I mean, when I rolled up in there, like I said, it was all like, Mercedes trucks and stuff. Like everybody, you could tell everybody had money.
Everyone's
just good. Like, everybody's doctors and lawyers, or there were a couple people that played for the Falcons. He told me, he said, yeah, there was one guy, one of the neighbors played for the Falcons, another one played for the Braves. So I was like, okay, so you can tell the type of income that you have to live in this area. Because I'm like, okay, this guy plays for the Falcons, this guy plays for the Braves, this guy's a dentist, this guy's a lawyer. This one's a doctor over here. So everybody is like, they're black, but they're all professionals and athletes and stuff like that. So it was definitely a different type of hustle. But I was like, okay, because the other time I've been in the gated community, they were like, what is this guy doing here? And they saw who I was with, and his father, that was a buddy of mine, his father had, money. So it was like, but they couldn't believe it. Like, what's this guy doing here? I didn't belong. They were looking at me. But after I went back the next time, and they was like, "Oh, okay, that guy is friends with Jeremy. Okay, I know who this guy is."
Right. It might, there's, I'm sure, a good percentage of it being like, "What? He doesn't belong," but also a percentage of it being, "You don't belong." Like, we know you don't live here. Like, they know each other probably.
Yeah, and that's
also.
Yeah, so it's like they all know each other. So, like I said, the first time I was there, he actually brought me there. I was riding with him, and they were looking, and I was like, they were, because he told me, he said, some of my neighbors, they talked to my dad, and they were asking who you were, and I was laughing my ass off. I was like, did I have? Because I did notice that. It was like I stopped time when I was in the car with him. It was
like a freak show coming into town or something. Rolling in.
I did get a few stares when I pulled up, even though I was with someone they knew. They were like,
"That's weird.
Is he being held hostage? Why?" Yeah, it was funny to me because I don't think he realized that reaction, because I was like, "You don't have black people in your home very often." He said, well, it's not because I don't want black friends or whatever. He said, I just didn't have any black friends. And then me and you became friends. And so I was like, okay. But I was like, I could just tell, because when I got there, they cleared that energy changed. And they were like, why is this guy here? They clearly, they were like, and they were looking. And like I said, so I only went over there like twice. And, but I could just tell. I was like, this is one of those spots I don't belong around here. And they just, that's just the way it was. And But him and his family, you know, I had dinner with his family and stuff, and they cooked out, and you know, nice home. I'm talking nice. I was like, whoa, they had the hot tub and I was just like, awesome. One day I want to live like this. Dream. They had a bidet, and I'd never seen one before. I didn't know what I was like, I know these motherfuckers is rich. They got 2 toilets in here. And he was like, this isn't that's not a toilet. And I was like,
that's a cleaner.
I was like, he said, it's a bidet. And I was like, what's a bidet? And then he explained and showed me how it worked. I was like, yeah, I've never seen it. You can tell, like I said, I'm straight from the ghetto. And it's like I'd never seen this kind of stuff. And the father had like antique cars. He took me into their garage, and he had like a old Rolls Royce that they took to car shows. We have a lot of car shows around here. Mm-hmm. I mean, my God. And thing that blew me away, they don't sleep with their doors locked.
Huh.
That threw me off. I was like, you guys, because we just walked up to and just opened the door, and there was nobody home. And I was like,
and this is the gated community, though, right?
Yeah, so it is. It's a gated community.
So I guess they feel safer.
Yeah, I was blown. I said, you don't lock your door? He looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, why do you lock your door? I said, because criminals, man.
Mm-hmm.
Said, that stuff doesn't happen around here. And I was like, where I come
You're
from.
You're like, must be nice.
Yeah, where I come from, you better not leave a piece of cheese on your porch where I come from, because the rats will come. Oh, no. This is the worst. Like when you in the ghetto and you see like a rent-to-own truck pull up, because, oh, Miss Nancy just rented her new 40-inch. Let's see if we can figure out a way to remove that from her home. That's why, you know, like when somebody like, oh, okay, her income tax must have come in. She's getting a delivery of, they got new beds coming. They got you see the neighbors all sitting there. You see them discuss, oh, must got her check. Okay, she got a couple. Yeah, they scoping. They see that big delivery truck. Oh, she got a new big flat screen going in the house. Oh, okay, they checking everything that you got. So when I'm over at this guy's house, I'm describing this to him, and he's looking at me like, you live like that? And I was like, that's normal for me. He said, I could take this, and this is still when we had VCRs and stuff. He said, I'm telling you, I could take this VCR and stick it on the porch all night long.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they all have one. They don't need an extra. Antonio, you finally froze out.
Yeah, oh, no. I saw. Yeah,
there you are.
Okay,
you like completely froze that time.
So,
like,
I don't know if you heard, but I was saying that, like, he told me he could take a VCR and he could stick it on the porch, and when he woke up the next day, it would still be sitting there.
Yeah, well, they all have a VCR. Why would anyone take it?
Well,
I'm saying in his neighborhood, they all have a VCR. They don't need to sell it. So no one's
everybody there had money. Everybody had money. Everybody had like antique cars and stuff. Everybody there had money. So I'm used to living where everybody's broke. And when everybody's broke and they see somebody it's crabs in a barrel. So at that was like, oh, you have a little bit more than I do. We're both poor, but you have a little bit more than I do. So I'm gonna break into your house and rob you and take what you just got.
I still don't really understand that mentality. I mean, I do, but at the same time, it's like, you guys, like, everyone's all together. Like, we're all poor. Why, steal from the rich assholes? Why are you stealing from your fellow poor people? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
Here's another one. I'm gonna tell this one, and we'll close this bad boy out, right? So go back to Tracy. So he told me a story. I've gone out to eat with Tracy a few times, and he tips big. He'll tip at least $40, $50 on the tip. You know, so we had a tipper. Yeah. Oh, I used to be a
waitress, so that's great.
Yeah. Oh, and when he tipped the young lady last night, she was almost in tears. She came up and talked to him. Because Tracy demands stuff. He was like, hey, bring me some alcohol. And he's raising his hand. Hey, can you do? He does want service. He wants them to come in there and be attended to.
He'll pay for it. I love that.
Yeah. So at that point, she took very good care of us last night. I mean, we had all our food out and she was coming to talk to us and make sure, hey, you want me to refill your drink? But she gave us great service. So he gave her a $50 tip. And she was like, I just want to thank you. She said, with everything going on right now, we are getting customers, but a lot of them aren't tipping, or they're tipping very, she's like, I've worked the last few shifts and I barely got any money. She's like, what you did, that was great. And it really helps me. Thank you so much. And I was like, she was getting choked up. He was like, no, you were great. I'm happy to do it. And he was very happy.
People don't realize how much tip jobs people rely on their tips in jobs like that. It's a huge part.
And she was talking that COVID has people are still wanting to eat out, but they get a little chintzy with the tips, even though they still want that service when they go into these places. So she said her tips and her friends, all the other guys, so she was like, oh my God, this guy tipped me $50. This is great.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. So I love that.
She was choked up, and I was like, he was like, but it ain't no thing to him because he showed me what was in his bank account. I know he got it. That $50.
No, guys, people like that are like the cool people. Like when you have I like when I have some money, if I'm enjoying something, or like if I go out to eat, like because I've been a waitress or whatever, like my sister and I both, we tip. We're never gonna tip under. We'll tip the bare minimum if someone's like terrible, but like, but also that's part of your job. I mean, if you're in the service industry and you're a waitress, you need to also do your job and do it with a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
It sucks to not get those tips though, man. It sucks.
Well,
but I've gotten some pizza and over the past few weeks, and I've tipped pretty good. Definitely over 20%. Just because right now I can. Like I know what's going on. I have a little bit of extra money. I'm going to give a good tip this time, because I'm eating home a lot. I'm not going out to eat a lot. So that's just how I think about it. Not everybody thinks about it, like that. No, and I understand that. That's just how I think about it.
Yeah, if they're taking care of me, I try to take care of them. But here's the thing, because he, like I said, I've eaten out with him a few times, and he's always a generous tipper. But he told me, he said a lot of times when they see black guys come into their restaurants, they don't want to wait on us because my friend Tasha, she worked at the Olive Garden, and she told me that Tasha's black, and she told me that the other waitresses, when black customers would come in, they would swap them. They would swap them out. So like, okay, if you caught the last black customer, the black table, then when the next black customer comes in, you give it to the other one, because the black people don't tip. They don't tip very well. So she said they would rotate they rotate the Negroes.
So do you think that's like a racist thing to think that way, or do you think that's just like stereotype? Like it's just like it's just kind of the way it is true.
She told me, now, like I said, Tasha's black. She's a dear friend of mine, and she told me, she said, I love my people, but she said I wait on the black customers and they don't tip as well as the white customers. So, because when she said, I said, that's kind of racist, ain't it? It was like, she's like, I hate when I had to wait on black customers. She told me that because she said they don't. I said, I always tip though. And she was like, yeah, but she said the white customers, they tip. They're a lot more generous than the black customers. And so we have to, when the black customers will come in, we swap. Okay, you took the last black.
So everyone has like equal amounts.
Yeah, you rotating them. But every now and again, someone like Tracy. So Tracy was a victim of this, and he told me the story. He told me the story a few times. He went into a restaurant, and he couldn't get anybody to wait on it. He kept sitting there waiting to be
not even to get waited on.
Yeah. They were ignoring him, and he said they were skipping over him, and not, they would, like, white customer would come in and they would help them and all this kind of. And so he saw this one young lady, a little white girl. He said, excuse me, ma'am, can you please help me get seated and take care of me? I promise you, I will make it worth your while. And she said, oh, I'm so sorry. And she sat him down, and she waited on him. I think he said he spent like about $120 in there. And because I go out with him, he gets wine and all this. He gets like, bring me a bottle of wine and all this. He gets a Blue Moon. He likes to get it with the orange slices. Like, he lives it up. He does not skimp on anything, right? So he spent like $120 on this meal. And when the young lady brought him the ticket, he tipped her $100.
Nice.
So the other wait staff that had ignored him, they were like, that guy he tipped you $100.
That's why you got to do your job for every table. You never know who that golden goose is gonna be, people. You just never know.
So
you never fucking know.
He said he went back to that place, and he said her name was Sarah. And so he said he went back there a few times. And so now they know that's the guy that tipped the girl $100. And so he said when he go back, they all fighting over him, trying to get to him.
Right.
Goes, no. Is Sarah here tonight? He said, I would not let any of them wait on me. I would wait for Sarah. Because all those guys ignored me because they thought I was just this broke black bum. And then Sarah took care of me, and I gave her $100. And he said every time I go back there and she was working, I would always make sure I'd sit at her stations, and she would get the tip from me.
Tip her good.
And he said, boy, they started to hate me when they see me pull up because I wouldn't let any of them.
Like, now they really ignore me when I come in. Like, Sarah,
yes. He was like,
he's here.
No. Is Sarah here?
Like,
yeah, so he told that story. So I thought that was funny, but like I said, my friend Tasha, she was very honest with me. She said, yeah, when the black customers come in, we rotate them because
I've had different experiences. I mean, I could tell a few different stories, both positive and negative, as far as black tippers, I guess, are concerned.
That's what she told me. So yeah,
there was this one time I was working when I wasn't waitressing. I was like doing drinks and backup waitressing, and I always worked Saturday and Sundays at breakfast restaurants. And the waitress I was backing was she was kind of like a lazy bitch, but whatever. And I was kind of mainly getting the shit done for this one large table, this black family. It's relevant to what we're talking about, I guess. And when it was all said and done, they got their bill, and the waitress comes up to me and she starts bitching about how they didn't tip her and saying all sorts of shit, right? Then she goes away. The lady that was at the table comes up to me personally and thanks me for the service I gave the table and gave me $5 personally into my own hand so that the waitress did not get it because I was the one that actually helped them. And I was like, thanks. So yeah, it's just do your job. Do your job. Good things will come sometimes, hopefully.
So
even though bad things come too.
The young lady I had mentioned earlier in the podcast about, when I was talking about not dating someone that you work with and all that. Okay. So me and her went to Genghis Grill. And like I said, I was engaged to this. We were going to get married. And we went to the Genghis Grill.
Is this the type of place where you cook your own meat, or is this like a sit-down restaurant? Or
you get the bowl and then they take you pick all the ingredients
and then they cook it for you or whatever. Yeah.
So at that point, for whatever reason, we got there, and this guy, he seemed to have a problem with the fact that my fiance was white. He had a problem with it, and they sat us down in his station, and he proceeded to just skip over us. We had been sitting there for like half an hour, and my fiance Catherine, she was like, "What the hell? These people came in after us. These people came. They're all getting helped." And it was very sketchy. So the girl that greeted us at the door, I said, "Excuse me."
Yeah, I was like, why? I would have we complained to the manager or something. Like, what's going on?
She was a Native American girl, and she came over to us. I said, "Can we get help? This guy, we've tried to. This guy's not helping us. What's going?" She's like, "Oh my God, I seated you guys like over half an hour ago. What's going on?" And you know, she and my girlfriend tried to talk to the guy, and he was like, no, and he just, you know, wasn't going to talk to us and all. It was very clear that there was something up. And I saw the group of waiters over there looking, and they're talking and they're shooting and look. You know how they tried to pretend like they're not looking at us, and they go,
Sure.
yeah, it was that kind of thing. And then so she was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. And Catherine was like, can we see a manager, please?
Yeah.
She got real upset because she said, excuse me, sir, what is your problem? I don't have a problem. Blah, 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 blah. And then all this, the whole thing got
well, then
crazy.
serve us. Or what? Like, what? I would have left.
So they actually brought the manager over. They brought the manager over. She talked to him and she said, okay, do not engage with these people at all. Because at that, she knew it was nothing, nigga. Because the other girl told me, she's like, yeah, these guys have been sitting here for like 40 minutes and they haven't even gotten waited on. Nothing's happened.
Yeah, obviously, if you get all angry or something, and now they're gonna be like, yeah, I can only imagine.
She told him after that, hey, you done messed up, because he got in trouble.
He should have been fired, but okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. But she gave us half off our meal. She gave us
half off.
Yeah, we got half off because I spent like $50-some in there.
Why did you guys? You guys should have left. Why did you even stay? You should have left. That's ridiculous.
Because I asked Catherine, she was like, "No, we're gonna eat here because this is you're not gonna let not
like take a stance or not take, but like fuck them.
I was like, we can go somewhere else. She was like, yeah, but then we're gonna have to go in there and sit and wait again and do all that. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So we got our food and they gave us half off. And I mean, I did it up. Like I said, I spent like $55 in there. They made the girl that greeted us at the door, they made her wait on us. They was like, so, but it was still assigned to his. I said, excuse me. So she brought us the check. I said, excuse me, if I put the tip on there, is it going to him or is it going to go to you? She said, well, technically this is his station. So it is going to go to him. And I said, fuck that. He ain't getting a dime from me.
No.
And I had like $20 in my wallet and I tipped her, I just gave her that. I gave it to her directly because I didn't put it on the, I put the rest on the credit card and I gave her cash. Mm-hmm. And because once she realized there was a mistake,
right? What was happening?
She took great care of us, but she was talking to us and she was like, he messed up. And I was like, it was
messed up.
But I mean, she told the manager because it was pretty clear. Because Catherine even asked him, she's like, do you have a problem with us? What's going on? Because it was very clear that he just did not. I mean, you can't miss my big black ass. I'm sitting right there in his station and stuff. And it was crazy. And he just didn't want. So she said, I actually want to talk to corporate. And so we contacted Genghis Grill corporate and they called the store and they followed up with the manager. I mean, it was a whole thing. They was trying to get us to come back there and eat and everything. So I was like, yo, because even the manager admitted, it was so blatant. It could not be. It was more than just a simple misunderstanding.
Yeah.
He had an issue with us because we were an interracial couple. And I mean, that's cool if that's how you feel, but you're at work, bro.
Is it though? I mean, what does it hurt him if two people sitting there together eating? Like, I don't get it, but fine, whatever.
I get it. I mean, we're in the South.
I don't.
It ain't the first time I've caught those kind of vibes.
You get that it happens, but that doesn't mean that it makes any sort of fucking sense to feel that way. But that's just my opinion.
But I'm just saying, you're at work, do your job.
Exactly. Yeah, bare minimum, do your fucking job.
Yeah.
Like
But like I said, they followed up. Once they talked, because like I said, when I talked to the manager, that bitch was apologizing. And the girl at the door, they was telling, they knew. And they were like, yo, they were like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. They were apologizing. Yeah. And like I said, when the corporate people contacted, they were like, oh, Mr. Bryce, we are so sorry. This is not our.
What did they do? Once you contacted corporate, did you get anything out of that? Like, I mean, like coupons or anything? Like, did they do anything?
They invited us back. They wanted us to come back, and they were going to feed us for free.
Okay.
Catherine said she didn't want to eat there anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
But they offered to comp our meal the next time we came in because, like I said, the manager could not deny. It was so blatant that the dude was being racist. It was so blatant, and everybody, his coworkers, was like, "Oh shit, what?" Like
it wasn't like he just slow service. It was no service.
Yeah, he was intentionally skipping over us.
I don't get that.
And no, Catherine, she wrote this long ass note on the receipt. She took the pen and she wrote paragraphs in little writing on the. I couldn't. It's like I'm writing him a note, and I was like, I was tripping out. But like I said, they contacted. And they, like I said, they did try to, and I love Gang is Real. They did try to make that right with us, but she didn't want to go back in there and eat. She said that was disgusting what happened to us, and I don't want to go. I don't want to go back there. I was like, but I want the big Muay bowl or whatever that they have.
Maybe if that guy got fired or something, I'd consider going back on. But like, not if that asshole's still working there.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't really care that much because he's just going to do it to somebody else. He will.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, that was funny. That's what, I like I said, those are the different little things that have happened.
Life.
Okay. Well, this has been a fun JillStream. Yeah. So let me do my little rundown here. If you're on another platform and you want to come hang out with us, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. YouTube.com/Akari Press. Obviously, the JillStream streams every Monday and Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And I think we're on Stitcher and TuneIn as well. So, yeah, but you can catch the JillStream on any of those platforms. We've got links in the description. Of course, the JillStream every Wednesday and every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Akari Press channel. And, of course, big shout out to our good friends over at Planet EJOBN. We love having you guys hang out with us and contribute to the conversation. Jill, is there anything you would like to say before I close this bad boy out?
No, just tune in for Wire Wednesday. And I have a note on my whiteboard in the kitchen to bring up something for Wire Wednesday because somebody from the Wire showed up in, I've watched a lot of Bob's Burgers like all the time, constantly, because I love Bob's Burgers.
Okay.
So, but a character from The Wire shows up in Anyway, I'll talk about it on Wednesday.
I'm looking forward to that. Well, you heard Miss Jill. We'll be back on Wednesday for Wire Wednesday. Episode 4 of season 1 of The Wire is what we will be watching on HBO Max. We would love to have you guys. It seems like we're getting a few Wire fans in here. So please come join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will watch episode 4 of season 1 of The Wire. I'm very much looking forward to doing that with Miss Jill. As always, catch me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on YouTube, all at Akari Press. AkariPress.com takes you to brand Way of the Gun. We're over $28,000. Thank you guys so much for your support. Heading towards $29,000. Of course, get my horrible merch on Amazon and on Teespring and all that good stuff. Please, we enjoy you guys supporting the channel. Thank you so much. The JillStream is over.